Hey there, how you doing? You know, late fall, winter time of the year, I don't always love the fishing. I mean, there can be some great fish caught, but I do love some of the deals that you can get. So there was the big AliExpress sale in November, you've got Black Friday. And then the other thing I sort of love about the late fall, you got the winter beers, right? The Christmas beers, the Oktoberfest, all that stuff. And quite frankly, this is one of my favorite beers. And we're opening all of the lures and stuff that came from the AliExpress sale. Sort of feels a little bit like opening Christmas presents. So I'm going to have a Mad Elf Ale. In fact, I like this beer so much that I have the official glass for it as well. Isn't that beautiful? I got to get this open before I finish that beer because it's like 10-something% alcohol and can't make it through more than one of those. Well, let's take a quick sip. So honestly, this order from AliExpress, it's mostly focused on trout, on getting lures that are similar to things that I know work for the way I fish. So there's going to be, if you've watched the channel, there's going to be a lot of familiar looking things. It's just the brands are different. I have no idea what's in which package. So I'm just going to start with the first one and see what we come across. I need to put my glasses on here. Actually, let's get these moved out of the way a little bit. So, well, that didn't work. So what do we got here? Ooh. Okay. These are essentially clones of the Duo Realis 63mm suspending jerkbait. So the suspending jerkbaits have really been working well for me. I haven't caught a lot of fish this fall, but the suspending jerkbait is one of the few things that has been catching them. And it's also a great lure for the winter time in general and the spring. So this one's a little bit bigger, and I got 3 different colors of these. And the other thing, wow, that's a really nice one. I'll have to unpackage that one. I also have another order where I've got at least one of the actual Duo Realis 63 suspending. So I'll be able to do a side-by-side comparison of those. So this is one of the types of baits that I got a lot of on order, which is the suspending jerk bait, but in small sizes. These are probably one of the biggest ones. This one really looks nice. Look at the colors on this. I don't know if it's going to show up as well. So it's got orange. I mean, this one looks like it'll be fantastic for trout. Actually, they all look good. You know, this could even be really good for bass. So it's the first order. Should I take a drink between each package? Probably not. I'm yielding a sharp knife. Okay, so this was sort of a late order, but this is something sort of cool. At least it'll be cool if it works the way I think it should. Basically, these are casting bubbles or casting weights, and I thought they would be really good for basically trying to use flies or some of the other really small lures. These are about 3 grams, and so what you do is you basically just run them through your line. You put a swivel down here with a bead, and then you'll have your leader. And so this floats, but it also acts as a so it's almost like a floating indicator that acts as a casting weight. 3.2 grams looks to be marked on there. So it's just something I wanted to try. I have other, they were dirt cheap, so sort of goes back to that float and fly idea that I've been trying to figure out and make work a little bit better. Oh, so these are Fat Swing Impact clones. I don't know, it says keep clean. I don't know what that means. I don't think they're scented. And so we'll see how they work, but they do look pretty similar. They don't feel as sort of soft, which maybe they'll last a little bit longer. But I've been looking for a cheaper alternative, to the Fat Swing Impact. So I've got these. Again, there's no way I know the colors on these. But this one's more like a sort of like a pearl color, and this one's a little bit more of a shad color. And then these, ooh, these are better than I thought they were going to be. So these are basically a little Helgrammite, but they're 1/3 the size maybe. So these could be fantastic for finesse. These could be really, really nice. The first one I pulled out, do they just have a single tail down the middle? That's the first one I pulled out. No. And so these are basically just like a I don't know, sort of a natural flake in a way. They're sort of an amber color. You know how much I love my Nico Helgrammite, so I wanted to give these a try. And again, the fact that they're 1/3 the size, these could go great on like a mule fishing jig and could be absolutely killer. It's probably a spring bait. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, this is another, sort of like another Duo Realis style. Oh, nope, this is the Spearhead Ryuki Clone. But this is a sinking, but it's in the 50 millimeter. So I got a pink and then a blue and green. These are both, you know, obviously trout focused, but they're yeah, these are nice. I like these. See if they catch fish. Next one. There's no reason to go into great detail on these. Oh, these are the Spearhead Ryukis. That's why I was sort of looking at, like, these didn't look quite right. These are the Spearhead Ryukis. These look very similar to the baits that I already have. So, again, these are very trout-focused colors. Rainbow trout, and then sort of like a pink. I like pink. So let me go figure out what these are. Okay, so these are just another... Go back to these. These are just a slow sinking minnow. So they're not suspending, but they're slow sinking. But I got these for $1.17 each. And so the total price of this order with shipping was $3.95 for 2 lures. So I had to try them, right? I had to give those a try at that price. Because, you know, a lot of the stuff that I'm buying is $5, $7, $9. Some of them are $14. So if I can find something that catches fish for $1, $2 shipped, that would be fantastic. So that's that. What do we got here? Okay, so these are, I got some ARS spinners, and it's one of the few things that's caught fish this fall for me. And so this one has Blux was the name of the company, BLUX, and they basically had an ARS spinner, and it looks, I mean, it's got the same body shape. See, the ARS has a little bit of an offset shape to the body. There, it shows up good there. Versus the Panther Martin, which is just sort of oval. This one is a little bit more of an offset shape, and it's got the spinner built in, or a swivel built into the spinner. So they had a few different colors in these. They didn't have black and gold, of all things, but they had copper, which was nice. They had this pink with silver. They had the good old yellow, and then they had green and gold. Green and gold, it's like a dark green with a light green, and this one I really liked. But I figured I'd get a few of those as well. These are $3 each, and then there was some sort of discount because I got 4 of them for $11. So they must have been a little bit cheaper. Maybe one was just a lot. No, they all say they're $3.08. So somehow I got a little bit of a discount. So not super cheap, but it's like half the price of an ARS. So if they work, be great. You know, and honestly, I haven't had any lures from AliExpress not work. I haven't bought a ton of them, but that's why I bought so many this time, because the ones that I have bought, they've worked pretty nicely. And so I just figured might as well try a few more. And I also wanted to get stuff that's very similar to things that I've been using, so then I can basically do a side-by-side and maybe, you know, maybe actually use them right beside each other on the water. So this one is basically a clone of the Great Hunting 48. I think it's normally like 13. I think it's normally $13 or $15. These were $1.37. So like 1/10 the price. They pretty much look, they don't look identical, I don't think. I feel like they might be just a little bit different size. I feel like these are just a hair bigger, even though they're supposed to be the same size. Now these ones are 51s, and I think the other ones I have are 48. So, but I got them in colors that are the same colors that I get the Great Hunting humpbacks in. For $1.37, no rattles in them. That's good. Oh, okay. Now, so these are nothing I've ever used before, but it's a lure that I was going to buy, but they kept being out of stock on them when I was ordering from Japan. And so then they had these. I figure I will eventually get the real version. This is called the Micro Tappy. And so it's got, you know, this little floating tail here. It's got a little spinner on the bottom. It's basically a wake bait, surface bait. And so, but again, they're usually like $13, $15, maybe even 20 from some places. And these were $3.68. It says the total was only $6.98, so I even got a little bit more of a discount from there. So I got two different colors of those. Figured out, and look, they're even packed different. Sort of weird. Yeah, they're the same. First I thought they might even be different, but it's just the way the colors are. This is sort of exciting in a way, you know, just sort of, this is definitely going to be a spring bait, but it's just when I saw them at that price, I said, well, I'll get those, and I'll eventually get the matching one. I'm thinking this has to be then the other lures from, I think it was called Jerry was the shop. These remind me of a lot of the Jackal Timon lures that I've never been able to get. Like every time I go to order them, they're out of stock. And so these little, you know, these little crankbaits of all these different types, this one's a little disappointing. It doesn't even have any hooks on it. You know, and honestly, it was probably pictured without hooks, and I just assumed that they would put hooks on it. But so I'll have to put that on here. Which also means there's an order that says it was delivered and it's not here. Interesting. I thought I was missing one. This one's a little disappointing because, like, this is the first lure that I've gotten. I'm like, this one doesn't look like it's finished. It doesn't have the eyes on it. It does have the rattles in it. But these are all little, this is a sinking lure. This one is sinking. So these are 3 grams. You can see what they look like there. This one is also probably 3 grams of pink. This one's a little bit bigger. So these ones, yeah, so these are also slow sinking. They're not actually suspending, but they're close. And then they sent me a couple stickers as well. So these are cool. They're and you know, one downfall. I got actually probably one of the biggest orders out of the group. It says it was delivered, but it never actually showed up. So it was actually a total of, there's 7 other lures that I ordered that never got delivered. So I'll have to follow up on that and see if I can do that. But this is the most of, at least, the AliExpress. So this is what I got from AliExpress. I will be using these through the winter and the spring for the trout. And then a couple of these things will probably be a little bit more like spring, summer for everything else. I'm really appreciating AliExpress. I mean, it gives you a way to maybe try a lot of different things. You know, maybe I find something like, so I got all these Duo Realis, and maybe say, you know what, this is a killer bait, and it works pretty well, but the regular one is just a little bit better. Or, you know, I'm trying these because they're, you know, a lot less expensive than the Ryuki Spearheads. So if they work well, then it's a deal. But it's just a way to try out a lot of stuff. I mean, all of this total probably cost me like 50 or 60 bucks, which is crazy. I mean, you know how expensive just these. If I just would have bought these would have been $14 plus tax. So this would have been $15. and then you throw these two in there, that has me at 45. And like I said, all of this probably cost me under $50. So definitely worth it. These micro tappies, I know they go for $17 to $20. I got 2 of those. You know, now there's the whole discussion on knockoffs and should we support that. And if you look back in American history, you know, a lot of the manufacturers in the 50s and 60s and even early 70s, some of the stuff they were making was just blatant rip-offs from other places. So I don't have that big of an issue with it. You know, and you think about it, like, well, maybe. But like the Jerry designs, I feel like they're legit. You know, these don't look like anything else that I have. These are definitely knockoffs. I think these pretty much are too. So, but anyway, hey, thanks for watching. If you got a bunch of stuff from the AliExpress sale or from Black Friday, you know, hopefully your wife doesn't turn into a mad elf when she finds out what you bought. So my wife's pretty supportive, but I'm looking forward to getting this stuff into the tackle boxes and then gradually getting it into the rotation. And some of the stuff, like I said, I'll make sure that I do side-by-side comparisons on some of the stuff that has direct matchups. So appreciate you watching. That'll be the end of the lures. If I ever find that other batch that was like 20 bucks, I will, I want to say that I'm done buying stuff for the wintertime, but that's just not true. Because I know I'll probably buy something else. But my next planned, you know, like bigger orders will be in January, late January, February, preparing for the spring season, replacing some of the stuff that I lost during the winter trout season, you know, anything that I want to focus on for the spring. So again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. So I went and mentioned that to my wife about the order not showing up, and she's like, oh, wait a minute. Now I don't know where my knife went. Here it is. So there's something else. So let's see what we got here. This is the missing order. She thought it was something for Christmas, apparently. Got all of them? See, and it was even wrapped really nicely. This one's Sea Sky Fishing. So this is a 2.7 gram micro, that's why I was a little disappointed, because I knew some of these were suspending. So this is 2.7 gram micro suspending. This one is also a 2.7 gram micro suspending. These ones, okay, so these two are slow sinking lures. And then these ones are basically direct copies of the GH48. So remember I said that when I looked at these, I'm like, they seemed a little big. So you can see the 51 versus the 48 size, which, actually let me get them right down here beside each other. Short hooks. So there they are side by side. So you can definitely see there's a size difference. But I mean, they really copy the Great Hunting pretty well. And I think they're a little bit different weight too. So I think these ones, the smaller ones, should be 4. Okay, so these ones are the smaller ones are 3.6 grams. And then these ones are like 4.8. So, again, a lot of good bait finesse stuff. And there you go. See, I didn't even have a problem with that shipment, even though I thought I did.